Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you. I mean, shaking news just out, breaking. U.S. SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, suing Binance, CZ Binance today, announced that we got the U.S. Supreme Court decision could favor Ripple judge in the Ripple case. FedNow, Temenos, Finastra, flip the switch. They say it themselves. How about a $5 to $6 plus XRP? How about somebody roll that beautiful intro?
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.17 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 2.6%. Appears to be off of the recent news here, the breaking news, the SEC suing Binance. We'll get into it. 26,400 plus for Bitcoin, 1857 and change for Ethereum. Tether market cap is 83.1 billion plus. XRP 52 cents, wiping out a little of that 7-day gains here. We were at 11.7 or 0.5% gains on the 7-day, now down to 8.4. But look, this is the time where uncertainty is all around us, ladies and gentlemen. You can't keep up with everything, and I know that. And this is the learning curve you're looking for right here. Get all the tools you need, whether it's investor checklist, portfolio creation, groups, private lessons to gap fill where you may be missing some information that you need, and the support from an incredible community that does critical thinking at a level that I've never experienced until now. But this is the time when real wealth is made during down times like this. During times like this, when we understand where the market is ultimately going, take advantage of the special offer I have, the 3-day free trial. Join this group and make the investment into yourself. You're going to come out the other side better than you came in it. That's how it's been happening so far, and you'll find that too. Click the link underneath the video. Let's get started here. Americans pull $472 billion out of the U.S. banks in the last 3 months. What's that telling you? Lack of confidence is what it's telling me. It appears some of that may have found its way into XRP. XRP sees $2.6 billion in just weeks as investors favor Ripple in the SEC lawsuit. We'll see about that too. We could be days away. And now the Hinman documents are due to be unsealed in a matter of days, ladies and gentlemen. John Deaton puts the chance of an outright SEC victory at just 3%. How about that one? And I think we're going to see a split decision. But being that we're about 8 days and counting down of the SEC releasing the Hinman emails, it would appear that they are also trying to distance themselves from the lightning strike of these emails when they finally are revealed to the public. Mr. Hubert shares to all of us here, the SEC has now removed Bill Hinman's biography from its website. Get ready to throw him under the bus. That is exactly what it looks like to me, and it's not hard to see it, is it? Then there's this very ominous tweet. I don't know what this is here, but I'm asking the question. This is from David Schwartz. He says, if people knew what we did, they'd be really mad about it. Some unstable people might even possibly do something violent, maybe. Seems like a very bad reason for the government to insist on keeping something secret. I asked a question. Is this about the Hinman emails? It may not be. I don't know what it's about. But it's certainly what it made me think of. Then we see this breaking news right here. Just 30 minutes ago, crypto exchange Binance and CEO CZ Binance sued by the SEC on allegations of violating federal securities laws, going after the big dog, ladies and gentlemen, the largest crypto exchange in the world, now being sued by the SEC. I offer this. I believe not only is this a jurisdictional power grab and land grab for the SEC, but it's also the SEC's sleight of hand. Hey, let's sue the biggest crypto exchange right as the Hinman emails are about to drop. I'd also be looking for a few other doozies leading up to it as well. Watch out, USD Tether. These are trying times. This here from Wall Street Bulls shares this. U.S. Supreme Court's recent verdict in Slack versus Pirani here may revolutionize the game for XRP in the secondary market. As you can see here, if we look at this, Jeremy Hogan has this also. In this comment here, 1933 Act requires a plaintiff to plead and prove that he purchased securities registered under materially misleading registration statement. Then it goes on down here to say the majority of the courts have for years held that 11A liability extends only to shares that are traceable to an allegedly defective registration. The U.S. Supreme Court just came out last week with Slack Pirani. The case is analogous to XRP in the secondary market, even though it was about stocks and not tokens. If were the XRP sold as an investment contract. It says here XRP doesn't magically maintain status as a security outside the context of the initial contract. Then someone said here it means all secondary market sales cannot be considered security. Jeremy Hogan says, I wouldn't go quite that far. It's a case with similarish facts and a holding that would suggest the same outcome for digital asset sales. Then further here, XRP Crypto Wolf here says that, how does this affect XRP lawsuit? He said, I'd expect to see this case in a Ripple brief on damages if necessary, or maybe in the judge's order if she addresses secondary market sales. Mark Fagel here, a former securities official here, securities lawyer, says, I don't see that at all. It says court doesn't say the asset ceases to be a security, just at a certain point it's not subject to fraud liability under the 33 Act, and the case is about stocks, not investment contracts. Jeremy Hogan says here, he says the logic is the same, just not enough space on Twitter to go into the whole analogy. Call it a 2 out of 3 case, and you know what Meatloaf says about that. Oh, we love Jeremy Hogan, don't we? All right, now changing gears, let's get towards where we're going, okay? Because where we're going, and look, I believe SEC versus Ripple was absolutely used as a weapon, but it was used as a weapon with the knowledge of public officials knowing full well what was coming. And you know what's coming in July? FedNow. And you know who one of those partners happens to be? Ripple. That's how powerful what Ripple can do. That's how powerful what XRP Ledger can do as well. And I believe that people like William Hinman and others inside the know knew that Ripple and the technology stack that they offer along with the XRP Ledger was the real threat. And that's how that case became a weapon. But here we see Ripple partner Temenos discussing CBDC's distributed ledger technology integration with banks and mentions R3 leading the DLT space. But before the gentleman from Temenos talks, I want to remind you of the Temenos video from a few years ago here from Bank XRP. Hope he's doing well. Ripple right here in the middle of their little tech stack. How about that one? Ripple Payment Network. Isn't that special? Yeah. Now let's hear the gentleman brag about everything else.
Such an exciting space with so many opportunities. So where does Temenos fit into all of this? What are you doing in this space?
Yeah, absolutely. So clearly, it's a very important area. We think that it's likely that we'll see multiple variants in these kind of systems in the years ahead. Be it centralized, decentralized, tokenized, account-based systems. So it's really important from our perspective and our customers that our platform can integrate and communicate with any of these systems. And this is what we've been doing already, is looking at how we can do this. So we've been doing some innovation work, looking at kind of the leading tech stacks that are being used by the Bank of International Settlements and central banks all over the world in their projects. 2 I can mention, one is with R3 and their sort of leading distributed ledger technology in this space. Another one is open source Hyperledger Bezu, which is an Ethereum stack. So we've run both of these systems, and we've sort of demonstrated an end-to-end flow of CBDC from central banks to commercial banks to end customers, really focusing in on those commercial bank touch points and how that can integrate. So clearly there's going to be evolutions in the space moving forwards, but through our commitment to innovation, we're able to stay on top of that and really sort of track and make sure that as these systems come online, the Temenos platform is ready to integrate with them.
And as I said, Temenos also has Ripple inside of their little network and their little payment stack. Isn't that interesting? But then we get on to this. FedNow opens a new option for instant payments in the U.S. Finastra has been involved in the service from the outset and is the best partner for your FedNow implementation. Well, I guess it's about time to remind you about all of this business. Ripple partners with the world's third largest fintech firm, Finastra. How about that? There it is right there. Manage cross-border payments easier with RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging. Then listen to this gentleman right here. Finastra is ramping up for Q4. Do tell.
It's great, but certainly can we do things faster? Absolutely, and that's where FedNow basically steps in, is the ability to process payments faster, securely, of course, and with the added flexibility that they're available all the time. Now, in terms of timeline-wise, why now? Let's sort of recap where we are, right? So we're in the middle of the pilot program, the FedNow pilot program. Things are ramping up for connectivity testing that's going to appear really in Q4 of this year with a very
Q4 of this year. We're loving the sound of that. But then let's listen to this part of the conversation when they actually say flip the switch in the middle of the year. They say it. I don't say it. They say it. Just like we've heard people at Ripple say flip the switch. It's amazing. We've heard Brad Garlinghouse say flip the switch. I tell you, it fascinates the daylights out of me. You know, it really does how people can get so upset in a down market because you remain enthusiastic about something and you believe that ultimately Ripple will achieve its goal and XRP will as well. It fascinates me that people can be so negative because you're so enthusiastic and happy. I'm a perma-bull. I'm permanently bullish on this space and utility projects and value tokens like XRP. How hard is it? I don't get it. Yeah.
Move on to our next topic, and this is really ties into some of the questions that have come our way. Basically, Stephen, I'll say right off the bat, this is for you. Can we discuss timeline requirements, onboarding process to launch FedNow service?
Yeah, so we have an active pilot program with 120 organizations to basically help us build out the FedNow system. That's been active for a couple years. And we hope, and we are actively recruiting what we're calling early adopters right now. And what does that mean? We're hoping we can get a good couple hundred customers that are in the position to both real-time post and connect. So when we turn on our testing system, which is late this year or first quarter of 23, they will be able to test our system. So when we flip the switch, and let's assume it is middle of 23, we will have several hundred customers on the system moving transactions.
Now let me stop right there, because we know FedNow is about domestic liquidity and domestic payment rails. I don't expect XRP to be used heavily inside of FedNow. No, I could be wrong about that, and I'd be happy to be wrong about that, because the more they use it, the better it is. But the truth is what I see, again, just a highlight for anybody coming into this thing, hundreds of people joining the channel every week or what have you. So, you know, you have to try to level set for everybody. It's the organization of these domestic payment rails that will ultimately help complete the last mile of cross-border payments to the recipient. You must organize the domestic liquidity so you can pay out the final recipient at the end, and so you can organize that domestic liquidity on these new payment rails like FedNow to be able to have access for these deep, large value payments to be made in cross-border settings and settlement and clearing. So this to me is extremely exciting when we hear them say they want to flip the switch for the middle of the year. I don't think they flip the switch and then the price goes bananas. Boy, I wouldn't kick that out of bed for eating crackers. But the truth is that to me, it's when they flip the switch, it tells me that we're not going back the other way. This technology has been adopted, and we are forevermore setting into a transformational age, not a change, a transformation. We are never going to return back to where we came from. Right here we see, speaking of never returning back to where we came from, I'd like to not return back to a 20-cent XRP unless I can get one final bag. Here we see Eggrad Crypto shares with us. We're looking for that green channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to get above that green channel too, because we get above that green channel, and I think it spells good news for us. And that's not financial advice from me, him, or anyone else. But if we do, I think we can start having that honest conversation about a new all-time high for XRP, which could take us to $5 to $6 plus. Some think it's $10. Some think it's 25, 27. We don't know the answer. But I tell you, with everything mounting this way, whether it's FedNow that we're talking about, whether it's the Hinman emails, a decision in the SEC versus Ripple case, getting a positive decision out of that for secondary market sales and for Ripple going forward, I tell you, I think sky's the limit. That's where I'm at, and that's not financial advice from me. That's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.